So today I'm finally doing my bow tutorial. Literally every time I do them, I get a bajillion comments asking me to do this. So here it is. So there's plain white bows, colored bows, teeny tiny bows, bow ties, glitter bows, candy cane bows, zebra bows, bows with tails, and lastly, rhinestone bows. The possibilities are literally endless with these. You could do just about anything you want. Okay, first off, we're going to get into all the supplies that you need to make your bows. First off, you're going to need your acrylic because that's what the bows are made of. Whatever brand you want to use is up to you. I have Young Nails acrylic because I'm obsessed with them. You're going to see a lot of Young Nails stuff in this video. They have the best acrylic ever. This is in clear, and then I have C&D pure white because I prefer the consistency of their white over the Young Nails white. So I find it works better for my 3D art. So I use the C&D for my white bows. So that was your powder, and then of course you need your liquid. So you're pretty much set with that if you just wanted to do white bows or clear bows, but you know, that's no fun, so we need more. So to make the different colored bows, we're going to need some pigments. Right here I have the Imagination Art pigments from Young Nails. Like I said, Young Nails, they're my favorite. They sell their pigments in a bunch of different collections, like pastel collection, neon collection, rainbow collection. So you buy them in different sets and you get different types of pigments. I happen to have all of them because I need everything. So this is what they look like. They are just a colored powder, and you mix it in with the acrylic and it can turn it different colors. So for this, I'm going to be using neon blue, which is a lighter blue, and then blue rainbow, which is their primary, you know, straight blue color. So besides Young Nails, there are different brands out there that make pigments to add to your acrylics or your gels or whatever you're adding it to. This is C&D Additives. This is Hot Pink. I don't really have that many of them. I got this one as a sample at a show last year, I think. I pretty much just stick with my Young Nails because I'm obsessed. Now, if you don't have any of these pigments and you still want to make, you know, colored acrylics, just go take some eyeshadow, smash it up, and throw it in there. Pretty much the same thing. So you can get away with that and still have colored bows. Just make sure to get it like pretty fine so you don't have like all chunks in your bows because we don't want that. So now that we have all our fun stuff, we need somewhere to mix and store our creations. These are just little clear mixing jars, and I bet you can't guess where I bought them. Young Nails. They just come in a pack with a bunch of them, and they have opaque ones if you want to mix gels as well. Okay, now you have all this stuff, and how do you get it on the nail? You need brushes. So these are my 3 brushes, and from Young Nails, from Young Nails, and from Young Nails again. I literally have an addiction. I'm obsessed. Like, it's a problem. But not really, because they're great. Anyways, these are my brushes. This one is called their Artistic Sculptor Brush, and it's the one with the wooden handle. And this one is their Pro Sculptor Brush, which is the one that has the metal handle and cover that goes over the tip. So these are the 2 of them together. The top one is the Artistic and the bottom one is the Pro. And I honestly can't tell you the difference between the 2 of them, but I need both because I have a problem. Okay, so 2 more brushes to show you. The one all the way at the bottom is the first acrylic brush that I bought at a school, which I got on Trans Design. It's a size 8, I believe. It's a little less pointy than the Young Nails one, so it's not that great for little details. It's really pretty though. It's got a rhinestone on the end, so that's why I bought it. And then the top one is my new one that I just got at the IBS show. It is a tiny little brush made for 3D art, so it works really great for the bows. So now we're going to start mixing our colors. Here I have one of my mixing jars and then a dapper dish to put it in afterwards to make it easier to use. So this is one that I just made off camera. It's just clear Young Nails acrylic and then the blue pigment, the rainbow one right here. So that's going to be like just a straight up primary blue color. And now we are going to mix our light neon blue color. So here I just have a cuticle pusher that I use for scooping acrylic. So I'm just putting a few scoops of the clear acrylic into the jar. There's really no specific amount. You kind of just have to judge depending on, you know, how many bows you're making with this. 1, 2, 20. If you want to make a whole jar and save it, it's up to you. So you just kind of have to judge and play around with it. So now I'm just taking a little bit of white acrylic to make the neon pop. So just adding a little bit in there, maybe a little more than a little bit, like a scoop I added in. Now I'm going to put in a big scoop of the colored pigment to make it blue. There's a little blob of the first color I made. So now I'm just going to take my brush and test it to make sure that it's the right consistency, the right color, you know, there's enough of each, and put it next to this one to compare to see if I like the two together, and I do, so we're good. So this is where I have my acrylic liquid. It's a dapper dish that's weighted on all the four corners, so that way when like you hit it, it doesn't spill all over the place, because I'm constantly spilling things. And a little cork to cover it up. And hey, guess what? Bought that from Young Nails too. Okay, so the trick to this is getting the consistency right. You don't want it too runny because then it's going to run all over your nail. And you don't want it too dry because then it just kind of flakes away and gets all powdery, and we don't want that either. So just play around with your brush and get used to your product ratio before you start doing this on an actual nail. Okay, so you want a bead that kind of looks like this. It's opaque, but it's not, you know, powdery, and it's not running off my brush. I can flip it upside down and it stays in place. When you put it onto the nail, you want it to stay in place. You don't want to be chasing it all over. This is not what you want. That is no good. Get rid of it. If you're using a larger brush like this one, make sure to drain the liquid out of the back of your brush before you put it onto the nail, because that's really going to help with your consistency. The smaller brush doesn't hold a lot of liquid, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so let's actually make the bow. This is the small bead for the center. You're gonna put it on there and wipe off all the excess liquid out of your brush. You don't want to add any more to make it runny. Let it set a little bit before you start playing around with it. I'm using a speed acrylic, so it's going to set a lot faster than a normal acrylic. So if yours takes a little longer to start setting, don't worry, just let it be, because you're just going to make it more liquidy, and that's not what we want. Once it's kind of turning matte-ish, you can start pushing it in to form a tighter circle. This is going to be our middle, and you just want to get that all nice and perfectly round. Once you have the shape you want, stop, don't touch it, let it dry, let it set, because once you start working on your sides, you're going to start remolding the shape of that and move it, and that's just no good. So I will do the middle on one hand, go to the other hand to do the middle, and then come back and work on the sides over here. Okay, so pick up a larger bead than the middle for your sides, place it on there, and wipe off the liquid. Let that sit too before you start playing around with it. So now we're going to start shaping the bow. Just flatten it out. Start angling your sides. Kind of just have to keep playing around with it until you get a shape that you like. Just keep pushing all those sides in and forming your bow. To make the little fold, you're going to take your brush and you're just going to indent into the side. Make sure you put the point of your brush towards the inside and the larger part of your brush on the outside, so it creates the right shape of the fold. Now we're going to just do the exact same thing on the other side. To get the fold right on this side, I switch my brush to my other hand so that way the point is on the inside of the bow. Up on top, making a larger bow, so I switched to my bigger brush. This is going to hold a lot more liquid, so it's going to let you make bigger beads to create bigger bows. So now I switch back to my smaller brush and I'm just making a light blue bow on the bottom. So I just added 2 tiny smaller bows on the bottom to complete the nail. So that's it. If you want to add some top coat like I did, make sure you're using a thin top coat so it doesn't pool up, in all those little folds that you made. You don't want to lose all of your detail. So use a really thin top coat, or a gel top coat is my favorite for these. I either use Gelish or NSI Glaze and Go for gel, and then for a natural manicure, I'll use Out the Door because it's a really thin top coat and doesn't pool up inside the folds. Check out all my social media sites. I'll have all of them linked below, and look out for a tutorial for my neon flower nails because those are coming up very soon. And if you want a tutorial on any of the other bows, like rhinestones, ones with tails, ones with patterns, let me know and I will definitely film those as well. Thanks for watching.